What's up, everyone? This is Forsaken, and welcome back to Fortnite. Today we are going to have a discussion about wall stacking. Unfortunately, I turned my back for a moment and some husks moved into the neighborhood, so we'll just have to try to ignore them for the moment. The theory of wall stacking is building in such a way that you increase as many obstructions as you can for the enemy that are crossing over one unit of building distance. Now, as you know, this game builds in a grid, a rather large size. So typically the most you can hope to achieve as far as defenses go for one unit is 2 walls. Now with wall stacking you can do a few interesting things. If you take and you build half of a floor, it generates a low wall. Now, as you can tell, the HP isn't as high as for a full wall, but it still counts as an obstruction, an extra 1,000 damage that they have to deal out before they get to you. Now, there's actually one step further that can be taken with the addition of a diagonal roof tile. That gives you 4 walls that your enemies have to travel through before they can get over 1 square of distance on the grid. Now obviously the true extreme would be to make this pattern with metal.
Finish up what you can.
Significantly higher HP, but I haven't found myself in any situation where I've had to implement anything as radical as that. Now, it's really unrealistic unless you're playing in a large group with a lot of people that can contribute to the resource gathering. The grinding gets a bit tedious. Now, it's fairly simple to build this. So you have your wall that you wish to have facing typically the Atlas or whatever the goal is for the husk to get to. This half floor tile took me a long time to figure out that you could even do that. Now, there were times where it was required of you when you were building those radar towers, but the implementation of it to use the low wall with the wall stacking method didn't come to me until more recently. See, it's pretty easy. Now let's move on to how you would implement these. Okay, say this grid is the Atlas. It's really, like I said earlier, it's impractical to do the level 3 wall stack. The one that would have the half floor tile that has the low wall, the diagonal roof tile, as well as both external walls. And with this trick, because when you have an Atlas, you actually cannot build on this very first inward facing edge rather of the wall. You can't get a high wall, but they will allow you to use this roof tile. And if you want to make sure it's airtight, you have to do the corners as well. And then pretty simply around that you just put your vertical wall. You do have the issue doing with the Atlas if you don't have someone in your team that's a ninja or someone that doesn't have the double jump, because then you get into some situations where you may not be able to reach into your Atlas to start it. I've been there and had to build structures to climb around. Now, outside of the immediate like a stationary defense, it also works fairly well on the forward facing edge of your funnel. If you're trying to lure enemies down a path to take damage. Of course, I can't find an area large enough to demonstrate this.
Oh boy. Gosh,
Good, they can stay sleeping. This is a perfect spot. Because once they start coming down your funnel, you aren't going to be in a situation where they're going to be attacking the walls anymore. Because typically you want to have your funnel drawing them directly towards the atlas so they don't choose to change their direction that they're heading. Alright now. Starting to piss me off here. But I realized I did just put down stairs there instead of a ceiling tile. I believe. And in that situation, that's just in case they don't take the path that you wish they would. Which happens to me a good majority of the time. Now, another thing that some people don't know is you can actually manipulate the full wall down to half the width of a single tile. And if you do this, it will cause the husks to have to maneuver around the low walls. And hinders their progression, slowing them down, letting your traps do as the most efficient of damage as they can. And then having these ramps on the backside acts as a good vantage point to shoot from, to keep an eye on their progression. Though if you get too close, they do tend to break off from the normal path. So it's best if you have somebody defending within the tunnel itself, just to keep the husks distracted. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Aggroed. There you go. That's it. And of course, I mean, if you really want to be extra safe, you can put the second vertical wall up. It's typically unnecessary, or at least at the moment, due to my progression in the game, I haven't found a place where it's really necessary. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some business that needs attending elsewhere.